Okay, another thing I'd like to talk about war, just in general, whether it's World War II or World War One or Vietnam or the current wars going on now or any of the ones that came the past 20, 30 years. The Gulf War, the war after 9/11 with Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff like that. And one thing people don't realize is PTSD and how prevalent it really is with soldiers that come back from war. And it wasn't known when my grandfather was younger and came back from war. And I don't think it was even known too much. I mean, they're finding out stuff that now, like recently. I don't even know if the first Gulf War soldiers got a lot of help for it or they knew a lot about how to help people for it. Um, there, it really messes with your brain. It f's with your brain. And like I could say, my grandfather, who was a tanker in the war, he drove the tanks, but he also saw some pretty horrific stuff and liberated the concentration camps and stuff and liberated Belgium and fought in the Battle of the Bulge, which was a pretty bloody war. And, it was bad. Not everyone got to ride on the tank. Sometimes you had to either ride outside the tank, like on the tank, but not in it, or you would ride on a horse or walk beside it. So, I mean, the war is not pretty. It's and you it messes with your mind. And my grandfather, I don't know for sure. I mean, I don't know what was going through his mind physically. He told me a lot of war stories. I could probably be a consultant on some of these shows and movies that they're doing about it. I have a lot of knowledge about it. And when I talk to people who have relatives, grandfathers, and whatnot that were also war veterans from World War II, we have the same stories basically. So my grandfather was just speaking from experience, and it was all true. Um, my grandfather, when I used to visit, the guest room was like right next to my grandparents' room. My grandfather would wake up numerous times during the night with night terrors, and I sometimes wonder if that was PTSD from the war. Could have been. And just to shift a little bit, and to let people know, if you're going through this, you're not alone. But PTSD isn't just from war situations. You can get it from abuse. You can get it from traumatic things that happen to you in life. Um, I If you get sick and almost die, I almost died from lithium poisoning and ended up in the hospital. The doctors told my parents if they didn't get me there in a day or two from when they did, I would have ended up in a coma and probably died. Um, I don't want to get into the logistics of it. I think I've talked about it before in previous videos, but it was bad. It was really bad. I was weak. I was shaking. Hallucinations. I mean, it was really bad, and I could barely walk when I got out. Had to like build up strength, like kind of rehab myself. I don't know why they didn't send me to rehab, but I had to rehab myself basically back to health. And luckily, I was able to lose hundreds of pounds and get back into shape. And it wasn't easy, but the one part I didn't get right was the mind. I'm still dealing with it today. It's 10 years out from when that happened, and every time I get sick, I get PTSD. Every time I think about getting sick, I get PTSD. Death has always been a scary thing for me. I'm terrified of dying. I wouldn't mind living 700 years if I could or longer, just to see the progression of society, and I'm scared to die. And I'm not okay with family dying. I'm not good with loss. I have worked this out in therapy, but not enough. Not nearly enough. I keep wanting to bring it up with my therapist, but it just doesn't come up. I used to bring it up with my old therapist, and he used to talk about it with him. But I haven't really talked about it too much with my past two therapists, and my one now and the one before that. Um, But yeah, PTSD is bad, and war veterans get it, and anybody who's been through a traumatic situation, sickness, abuse, just a really bad situation in your life, it could cause really bad things. And for me, I would never kill myself. I would never do anything like that. That would never be anything I would want to do. Anything I would do because it's I'm too afraid of death to even consider it. I mean, I love life. I enjoy life too much. It's fun. It's life is fun. There's so many things to do and see, and movies and fun things to do. Like on Monday, I'm going to the beach. Like, why would I want to give all this up? I mean, I love life, but some people aren't so lucky. There are some people that get PTSD that do commit suicide, and for those people, I feel bad, and that's why the people have to start thinking about some kind of charities for this. There must be like charities for PTSD. If you know any, if you want to link them, that's fine. Um, or if you just want to say, yeah, there's charities for this, or they. I mean, I don't want to say come up with a cure because like mental illness is weird. It's like they really can't cure it. They could just treat it. But it'd be great if they could come up with cures for all these mental illnesses. I have PTSD, I have ADHD, I have anxieties, I have bipolar. You name it. I got a litany of things going on with me, and I wish there was a cure for it, but there isn't. And just gotta deal with it, man. You just gotta deal with it the best you can, and people have compassion. Don't make fun of people with mental disability. And a lot of homeless people. Most homeless people have mental disability. They're not out there because they want to be or they're choosing to be there. They're not out there because they're lazy. They're out there because they have mental disability. I live with my parents. If my parents died today, I might be homeless. Seriously, I wouldn't have anywhere. Maybe I'd live with a sister or something, but I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. It's mental illness is tough. PTSD is tough, and um, heck, a lot of soldiers end up homeless. They end up on the streets because of their mental disability. And I just want to let this out there that this is a serious, serious thing, and people got to figure it out. People got to somehow figure out how to treat this because it's a serious, serious affliction amongst veterans and non-veterans alike. So I'm going to leave you there. Have a great day and just ponder this a little bit if you can and have compassion and love in your heart for everybody, even those suffering, especially those suffering.